Welcome to Eyes on the Grid, where we discuss all things F1 related. I'm Sarah.
I'm Mary.
I'm Alexa. And today we'll be talking about F1 silly season summer break. Let's get started.
It's lights out and away we go!
Okay, so before we talk about driver seats, team news, I wanted to ask a question to you girls. Do you think summer break is enough time for them to relax, get re-energized, like just to have a real break?
Yeah.
No. That's the short answer, but no. Because technically they get a month, right?
Yeah.
But then some teams end up working that first week of summer break. So how is that? That shouldn't be allowed, or that shouldn't count. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, agree with you. It's too short. Like they're working just at the beginning of summer break, and then like they go on vacation. It's like a week and a half mostly. So I think it's like a real short time to enjoy and just have space for them, for the families, and just to enjoy their break.
Yeah, especially with how long this season is compared to previous seasons and all the races that were added. I think they deserve a bit of a longer break.
I mean, maybe they think it's too long, or like because they want to get back, right? I understand that, but I don't think it should be called a break because technically they get 2 weeks? Because the first week they're working, then they get 2 weeks, and then the last week is technically halved because they have to travel to whatever new place. In this case, Netherlands. But like, I think it's just like a normal break week because there's a lot of 2 week periods between the year that like it shouldn't really be called a break.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
agree
That's just me.
because I think they are working too because they're doing photo shoots like for the brands. They are launching collections, everything. So it's like little holidays, but not really a big summer break. But let's think that they have a month, like by the end of September to October. So like we should call it just a break, but not really like a big summer break, in my opinion.
Yeah. The only reason I thought it wasn't really a break was because I watched the Max Verstappen documentary that like is coming out on Viaplay or something. And in between races, not during summer break, but in between races, he has like all these different meetings that he goes to. So I'm like, do they really have a break, or is it just what like they call it a break, but really they're doing other
I think
things?
that's
Like,
more
I
it.
don't know.
I think their actual only real break is winter break. I think this one is just like a break of races, but it's not like they have time to fully relax because they're still watching what they eat because of, weight that they need to keep and the fitness that they need to keep. So it's not like they can indulge in some of the things they may do during the winter break.
Yeah, I guess it's more mental break than anything else.
Yeah, I agree. But what I really liked about this summer break is like they all seem to be like around the same area. Like most of them, like not all the teams, but like they were all together, like in Ibiza, in Mallorca. So I think that's a good thing. Like they share good moments out of the track too. So I think it's good for the like team and everything between them.
Yeah. You know what shocked me? Liam Lawson was in the States, and I think that's so funny. I don't know why.
I've seen
Like,
some of
he's
his
the only one.
YouTube videos. I don't know if any of you else have seen them, and he's done some because his girlfriend is from the States. So I think he does spend quite a bit of time. Him going to Disneyland, Disney World, Disneyland was really fun when he met Lightning McQueen. Yeah.
Lightning McQueen, yeah. No, I just think it's funny because you know how we call Valtteri the honorary Australian, and then we call Danny Rick as the honorary Texan. I'm saying that Liam Lawson is the honorary Californian or American, I guess, at this point. Because not even Logan was in the U.S. He stayed in Europe, so which I understand. I would not do vacations here either. But still, I found that really funny.
Yeah, and then they went to very cool vacations places, like from a French girl, like I swear, Mallorca, Ibiza are really fun during summer. So I would have loved to be there, but no, unfortunately, we're at our places now.
Yep.
One day.
Yeah.
I mean, we have jobs. Yeah, you just get a break from their job.
No.
We don't.
Yeah.
So okay, but now we have to talk about what we really need to talk about is the driver's seats, because Carlos finally said where he's going.
Finally. Took a long time.
Well, I guess everybody knows at this point, so there's no surprise.
Yeah.
He's going to Williams.
Yeah.
Which at first I was like, I reacted the same way as a lot of people. I was like, oh no, why Williams? They're not like at the top level anymore. Like he's not gonna get points, all that stuff. But then I like thought about it again, and I guess it's a good thing. He's gonna help Williams get to where they used to be.
Yeah, he made a good choice, but I think in the first time we were all like shocked because we only see Carlos at Ferrari in the moment. So we're like shocked because it was like, wow, is he downgrading from teams?
Yeah.
But
That's
exactly. But we all forget that Williams was like a big team, like one of the top teams. So I think it's a good choice for him, but we see what future tells us too.
Yeah. I was really shocked by Ryanair, the airline. Like, they called him an operator, no longer a smooth operator, just an operator. And I'm just like, really? I think he's going to be a smooth operator driving for Williams.
He's an amazing driver. So,
yeah. But what I thought was funny was all of the comments about James's interview about Carlos joining. Because you have the first one was that it was the longest signing that he's ever done, because it took months to do. And I understand that because Carlos wanted to figure out where to go and what was the best team for him. But just the fact that like he had to do all this like stuff to convince him to join was funny for me.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of negotiations from both sides because I think Carlos had a lot of offers pending, but he chose wisely, I think, because we all thought he would go to Audi for 2026, but I think he had to make a choice for 2025, really, and I think he made a good choice for himself and his future.
Yeah, but I think even James knew that that Carlos wanted to go to Audi, because he was like, this is not just a yearly contract or a year contract. This is like yearly, like a multiple year contract, not just 1 year. So he wanted to keep him there. Yeah, so he wouldn't go to Audi.
Negotiations started like
2026
last year, right? It's in Abu Dhabi, yeah.
In Abu Dhabi, yeah. Which is a little shocking. I don't think they'd start that early.
No, but
anyway,
I think I also, in that interview, that they mentioned that Carlos was a bit blindsided. Correct me if I'm wrong. Blindsided by Ferrari signing Lewis. So he didn't have any, like he didn't know he was going to have to find a new seat for next year.
Yeah, that's true. But another fun one was that he said that Carlos was one of the top 4 drivers on the grid right now, sometimes the top 2, which I understand why he said that. Like, Carlos is really good with strategy, I think, and that Williams needs that because they're not good at all. Like, you would always hear Alex on the radio saying like when to switch tires, when to come into box, like all that stuff. They're never good at making decisions, and I think Carlos is really going to help.
Yeah, but Carlos has proven that he's a very good driver. So even if with the history of his driving past, like he's drove for McLaren, Ferrari, now Williams, like he's writing history for himself. And I think he's a very good driver, and people are like underestimating him on the grid, but I think he can be very competitive. Like really, like on the last races, like he was really competitive with Charles, and sometimes he was even like better, I'll say. But like in front of him at the end of races. So like I think he can be very good with a different car too. It can be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, McLaren, Ferrari, and Williams are the oldest and most iconic teams because all the other ones change almost every couple years. There's a new sponsorship that changes the name, and yeah, Ferrari does change, but like they're still Ferrari, they're the most iconic. Like the only two other people that have had those three are Alan Prost and Nigel Mansell. Like to be in the same like side of history with
one of
those two, I
three.
think is huge.
That's amazing.
That's really good. But like, question for you, like, do you think he can bring them back to the top? Like,
I don't think right away. I think Williams does have a lot to work on, even with like sponsorships. I don't think they have enough money because we saw it this year. They didn't have enough money to change the chassis for Logan or Alex, so they had to use one or the other. Like you can't just change that over 1 year. You have to find more money, like what works, what doesn't, and that's not going to be. It's the same with like when a new team joins, like Audi, they're not going to be great right away. It's like a
And I
learning
think
curve.
he will help them, like you said, not right away, but probably definitely long term, even with just his knowledge of the years that he has driven and with the different teams that he has driven for. I think that will help a lot because he's seeing different strategies and different ways each team operates, and he can bring his knowledge into Williams and hopefully help them get better and stronger as a team.
Yeah, and I think that was the difference between him and Logan. Obviously, like the amount of experience that he has, but also that Carlos has been in other teams in Formula One, and Logan had only been in Williams, so he doesn't have that broad of an experience, and you can't mention the strategy or anything because you don't know.
yeah, and what's interesting is that we have new car regulations that are popping up like information. So it may be interesting to see him with a brand new car, and maybe we'll be like surprised by Williams. Maybe other teams will be struggling with adaptations or just like finding the best car possible. So I think we'll have a good next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was obvious this year that everybody copied the RB,
Yeah.
which helped everybody, I think. But he has that knowledge from Ferrari that could help for Williams, so we'll see. If it wasn't Williams, was there another team that you thought he should have gone with?
Like there were. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. But I thought he might go to Mercedes. Like, to be honest, I was like, Carlos at Mercedes would be so good because like it would be like just a team switch with Lewis, and it would have been fun to see him like in the black suit. Like I think he would have done very good things at Mercedes, but maybe next time we'll see.
Yeah, because I mean, I also thought it would have been Mercedes because Mercedes is top 4 of the teams right now, so that would have been the best option, I think. But there's so many rumors with who has that seat that I like. It makes sense, and I'm sure because Carlos would always say, "Oh, I'm talking with a couple teams," so I'm sure Mercedes was one of those teams. But Williams won.
Yeah. And you, Sarah? What are you thinking?
Same thing. I was thinking Mercedes. There was only like 2 teams that are, well, Mercedes is one of the top ones. And I was also thinking like Alpine could be an option just because you have Williams and Haas and Kick Sabra, and they're on the lower end of the grid, and I just didn't expect him to end up there, not to diminish them as teams, but I was expecting like a topper level one.
No, I agree about Alpine because Alpine was Renault before, and Carlos was in Renault, so he understands like what he knows the team, so that would have been a better option also, but I think the way Alpine has been doing this season helped a lot with his decision. So he made the right choice.
Yeah,
Overall,
but over everything, like Alpine were like, it was so hard between Gasly and Ocon. Like they were not good teammates, so like gaslighted Alpine one way or another. Like in my opinion.
Yeah, and they're changing team principles, so I just think they're going through a lot of changes right now that probably didn't look appealing to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I know a lot of the other drivers that don't have seats yet were waiting for Carlos. I was expecting there to be more driver seat announcements during the summer, but we still have Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Joe Ronyu, Kevin Magnussen, and Logan Sargent.
Yeah.
5 people, and there's only 4 seats left. Not even thinking of like F2 and then all the reserve drivers that want to get a seat. Like there's so many options left. I don't, or so many people. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Is a lot of people want those positions, but there's not enough.
The grid's going to look different next year, and I'm curious to see how it changes and who we may lose or who we may gain. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, because we still have the 1 spot at Mercedes, 1 spot at RB, Visa Cash App.
I just say our
weird
RB.
saying the name.
Like,
I'm sorry. I know, but Red Bull also says RB. Sometimes it's just like,
true.
Which one are you talking about? But Alpine and then kicks out. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell who is going where.
But I would hope to see like new drivers. Like I love the grid as it is. Like right now, I love the teams. I love everything, but I expect like freshness for next year. Like something new, something like spicy. Like we want some fresh air. Like in my opinion, I want fresh air. But I love the drivers, but I expect like something more for next year. I don't know what you think about it.
I mean, Ollie is fresh. He's going to Haas. I mean, that's not a summer break news, but that was known before the summer break. But I don't understand why RB is taking so long to just put Ricardo back in as the second driver. Or not the driver, but the second seat. You know what I mean?
Especially with like all the rumors like right before summer break with Daniel and Max being part of Red Bull. I think it's logically makes more sense for them to want to sign Daniel because they'll have him in their back pocket if anything were to happen and they need him to step in. It'll be easier to take him from RB than having to put someone who may not be as comfortable or confident driving a second Red Bull if something were to happen.
No, I agree. And there was that rumor where Liam Lawson and Daniel Ricciardo were going to do PR during the break at a track, but we don't know what that PR could be. It could just be a video for YouTube or something. Like, it doesn't mean it's going to be an announcement. Because I know Liam also wants a spot, and he would be a good one for RB. Like, when he was there,
he was great. I like him as a driver. I think it'll be fun to see him back on the grid at some point. I just don't know when or with who that would be.
Yeah, and we have some good options in F2 too. Like we have Kimi Antonelli, we have Mick Schumacher, we have Liam Lawson too, and like so many others. So I think the competition is like running hard right now between teams because they need to fight for a place in F1. So what are you thinking? Like so many drivers, only 4 spots left. Like, do you think we will get announcements soon or not yet?
No. I mean, maybe during the Dutch Grand Prix, but I have a feeling there's also going to be announcements at Monza because of all the rumors. So, but I think if we're thinking of the last 4 teams, I think Mercedes and RB are the 2 that have like I guess, interests. Mercedes has Kimi Antonelli, and then RB has either Ricardo again or Liam Lawson. But I can't see anybody for Alpine or Kick Sauber. Well, Alpine could be Jack
Yeah.
Johan. I mean, he's the reserve driver, so why not? But I don't know. It's hard to choose.
Yeah. It's really hard to choose. Like for now, we just can make our own predictions, but we love them all, and we want to see them next year, no matter the team, in my opinion. But I really think like Kimi Antonelli will be announced as next year's Mercedes driver because of the rumors and because of the change of regulations. Mercedes asked to the FIA. Like, I'm pretty sure I'll be so disappointed if it's not, because like we're all rooting for it. Like I am. I don't know if you are too, but I would love to see him there.
Yeah. Well, it was approved. Like, I think if it wasn't approved, then we'd be like, okay, then Kimmy's not going to go. But the regulation was approved for the age change to 17, so that could mean.
Yeah, and I think out of all 5 drivers that have yet to have a seat, Logan and Joe, in my opinion, are the ones less likely to end up with another seat contract. Love them both. I feel like out of that list, they might not be the ones chosen. And then, like you said, we have F2 drivers to choose from too.
I agree. And I think it comes down to experience. Like they had their year and then the second year to prove themselves. And I think because of that they're not they're not on the top list for that reason. But there are rumors that Logan might go to Indy, because I heard Prema was looking at signing Logan for IndyCar, which, I mean, good for him if he can find somewhere else to go.
That also can leave the door open to coming back into F1 if he wants later on. But we'll see. Yeah.
Kevin did that. He left. And there's also rumors of him going to Indy or Endurance. So he could go and then come back later when there's like an opportunity or something.
For Logan, I feel like he needs to get a little more comfortable. I feel like he's lost some of his self-confidence, just out of observation. I don't know if he has or hasn't, but I think maybe another year, either back in F2. Like, I just think he needed more time in F2 in general, but maybe some time in Indy would help him become a more confident, stronger driver.
Question though, do you think Logan is too relaxed for summer break? You just have that like photo dump to prove it, right? Like, or just to analyze the photo dump that he did. Like,
I did not know that was him at first. It popped up, and I'm like, "What am I looking at?" Because it was 4 of them.
Yeah, talking about like a twin or like an American, like someone else that looked like Logan, but it was Logan. But I feel like he's usually quiet, or he doesn't post as much, and he's been very active. And on Williams, like social media, he's been active there. He's been active on his social media, his own social media. So like, I feel like he's too relaxed. So maybe he has a plan, and he's waiting to announce it. And we're just
I think he's been preparing for it, like for all, like because
last year.
We all know his results weren't really good. He was trying like all he can, and really like even if he wasn't the top driver of the grid, like he's still a very, very good driver. Like he's on the top driver of the world if he's in F1. But maybe he was prepared to it, and like he's been planning everything for next season, or I don't know. But I think that's why he looks relaxed right now.
I agree. Even like at the first part of the season, he's been doing good. He's been in the mid grid, or however you want to say it. I think it's more the car, in my opinion, because like Logan has proven himself in qualies, and he can get up there in top 10. I think it's more the car that he has at Williams that's not letting him show.
I know, I agree. I think they're giving all and any upgrades to Alex. So I think it just shows a lot more on Logan's behalf that it might seem like he's not as strong of a driver, but he got into Formula One, he got into F2, so he's clearly a good driver. I just think the car is probably holding him back.
I think it'd be interesting to see next year how they treat Alex and Carlos, the difference, and see if that's really the reason for Logan's mishaps, I guess. But Williams is definitely going to be on my top radar for next year, just to watch.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
What happens.
Yeah.
And seeing Carlos in white. But again, like you said, Mallory, at the beginning, like you're so used to seeing Carlos in red that like seeing him in white, how is he going to do the chili? It's white and blue. You know? I want to do a blue chili, which is really weird. Or if they do red, white, and blue,
American.
That's just going to look too... And then it's going to be like a dig at Logan. Or people are going to think it is, and it's not.
When you say these colors, for me, it's like a French flag.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, it's French. Like, oh, no, American. Okay.
But I was thinking more, since Logan is American, I was thinking more American. Because if I say French, it'd be like, how does that relate to Logan? You know?
But I think, like, for the previous, like, races, he made, like, a white hat, bucket hat with the chilies on it. It was, like, white and red, so it wasn't really Ferrari coded, so maybe there'll be some blue around it, but he's keeping the chilies for sure.
For sure, but I just mean like, I feel like red is Ferrari's color, and if he tries to do that on the white and red, it'll look too similar to the Ferrari bucket hat that he did with the chilies. So I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do.
They might have to like change the color of red that they use. Or like or have like something be predominantly blue and then have his chili on, which I don't know how that will look, but I mean it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, but I think he can have a lot of ideas, because last time I was shopping like for F1 merch and I saw some old Carlos McLaren shirts and that was like blue and white and I was like, oh, maybe, yeah. I thought it was like new merch. I was like, already? And then no, it was like very old merch. So I think it's coming with new ideas. But
yeah, I mean, I think at that point he wasn't using the chili as often or the nickname, so that's probably why. But maybe he won't even use the chili. Maybe he'll just have the word chili or something.
Yeah.
Or it's just the outline of the chili.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's say it's a blue shirt, and then it's just like a white outline.
That would look good.
That would be cool.
So much. I like it. Send it to them. Write them a message, please.
No. I mean, I'm sure they thought of it. If not, I will send something. Okay. But we have to do our predictions for the last 4 seats, because we can go back to this and be like, wow, we were close, or wow, we were totally off. So if you had to choose one person for each of the seats that are left, who would you choose?
So hard.
Starting with Mercedes. Make it easier. Let's start with one team, Mercedes.
From Mercedes, for me, I would say it's probably most likely Kimi.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement that it. But if it wasn't, because even Toto said, just because they changed the age restriction doesn't mean that he's going to choose Kimi. So if it's not Kimi, I think it should be Mick Schumacher. That's my two for those teams.
I think it would be a rookie. Like, for sure, I'm like feeling a rookie for Mercedes. I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but like, why would they want to change the regulations? They don't want to try something new because they have a pretty good car. They have George. George is a very good driver. He can be a good mentor to them. So, like, I think it would be good to have a rookie at Mercedes.
You're right. Now, what about Alpine? I'm saying Jack.
Yeah.
It's their best
Yeah.
option because they know him. They've driven for them, and not a lot of other drivers.
I just can't envision anybody. Like,
Right?
yeah.
Like Jack seems like
Yeah.
Alpine. That's it.
Yeah. You know what? Like
For me.
I like Jack's idea, but I would love to see like Daniel try Alpine. I don't know why. I know he's like a lot with Red Bull right now, but like I would love him do something with an Alpine car. Like I don't know why, but I would love the colors on him maybe. Like I don't know, but I think he could match with Pierre. I don't know why. I have a feeling.
Well, maybe that's your. We'll see. We'll see what comes out. I mean, you're not wrong. I think Daniel should find other options just in case, because I feel like they're playing with
Yeah.
him at Red Bull or RB. Sorry, see?
Yeah, RB,
See
yeah.
what I do? Yeah, so it's good for him to have options. What about Kick Sauber?
I don't see
know.
why they can't just re-sign Valtteri, because
Yeah.
they seem to have a good relationship, and
And
yeah.
Valtteri's a really good
Yeah.
driver. Think of him when he was in Mercedes with Lewis. Like, I don't understand. I think people are associating the drivers too much with the team and not what they've been
100%.
doing
Yeah.
like in general as a driver themselves. Because I don't know, it's one of the low teams, so I don't know. But I think they should keep Valtteri. But there's no rumors
No.
about Valtteri.
Be quiet on him.
Which is weird.
He's a good driver, so we know that he can perform well. I think it's just maybe the car and the strategy at this point. Yeah. So hopefully we can see him back next year.
And I think there's just no rumors because he's enjoying a summer break.
Yeah.
And we did get the annual butt picture.
Yeah, we're missing it.
Have you seen it? In his like photo dump, it's the very last picture.
Yeah.
We'll never disappoint. No.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that, but you know what I mean.
It's a
Yeah. So I think now is a good time to move into other news, not related to drivers, team news, just any F1 news in general. We have some kind of big moves happening next year. One of them being the Rolex partnership ending. So I'll be very interested to see who we are going to see around the track and who's going to be the iconic banner that you see over the starting grid with the lights. So that's going to be very interesting to see.
I'm honestly very surprised that Rolex is leaving.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even think of another big sponsorship that would be there, you know? Rolex has been there for a minute.
I know.
I've seen rumors about the French group like LVMH. They are owning like Tag Heuer, like the watches brand. So it might be them.
That does make sense because aren't they in collaboration with Red Bull? Max and Checo have been promoting them also.
Yeah.
So it could be true. We'll see.
Yeah. It will be a big sponsorship if it's true.
Can they be? Would they have to stop being sponsors with Red Bull if they do that? Or if it's like the watches, or if it's like the parent company? You know what I mean?
And maybe because it can be like no conflict, like interest conflicts. Like, you know, like if they're sponsors of a team, a special team, they can be like for the whole F1 thing. I don't know if it can be both. I think they have to choose.
Yeah, I think it might be different if they're sponsoring a team versus drivers. Like if they're just sponsoring the drivers, it might not be as or viewed as I don't know, like I don't want to say favoritism, but like
I mean, it makes sense because you have Monster that has a Monster Zone.
Yeah.
Is sponsored with McLaren, so it does make sense. It's just weird, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then we also have a possible new Grand Prix eventually in Africa.
It's about time.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the Moroccan Grand Prix, but that was 1958, I think. So it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool. And I know that well, at least Lewis is one who advocates for a Grand Prix to be in Africa. And I think it would be really cool if he could experience that before he retires.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, we'll see in September. There's rumors that they're going to have meetings. So
yes.
Yeah, but it would be good to have a good track, a new track, fresh air, like something new for us to see. Like it would be good. But like as you said, Sarah, I agree because Lewis is very attached to Africa. Like he's in Africa right now, so I think, or he was like during summer break because he's posting about it. So I think I would like him to experience it if possible.
Yeah, for sure.
do you think it'll be for 2025? I feel like it'll be more for 2026 because they have to get the track ready for everybody.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be next year. I don't even know if it's going to be 2026 because I feel like they may have to get through some things depending on the state of the whichever country that they choose to go to, and get all the pre-approved. Just I think it's going to take longer than a year, maybe even 2.
Yeah, because Vegas took what, 2 years, 3 years? It was during the pandemic, or they announced it.
Yeah.
And then so and that I think is way more easier legally
Yeah.
to do than Rwanda. So
For sure.
I think it's a long process to go through everything, and there's rumors too about like the new Saudi Arabia track. Like we've seen pictures, like, but it won't be like I think it's for in 2 years, like not next year because it will be like long to build it, but it will be a fun track too.
Yeah, I'd be curious for both of those. What do you guys think? If it will be like a street circuit or if they're going to build an actual
build?
Yeah, for both of them.
Yeah, those two would be built. But I don't think there'd be like an actual track.
Yeah,
or a street track. Sorry.
Right.
But I was supposed to be brand new ones. Like you're right.
Yeah, there's no way that's gonna be a street. Like I was surprised that they didn't, or they stopped negotiations for South Africa.
I know.
They were talking about that last year, and South Africa would probably be a good one.
Well, and it's been, like you said, it's been in the past, so that country has experienced it or has history with having a Formula One race there.
Yeah, so I mean, I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
But that's like the big news, right? But what about like the teams? Because I know some teams are changing.
Some teams are changing. We have Jonathan Wheatley leaving his role as Red Bull's sporting director, becoming team principal for Audi F1 team.
I think he's going to bring a lot of experience because he's won 6 world championship or world constructors and then 7 world driver championships. Like, what else could you ask for? You know?
Yeah,
I think it's what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great add-on to that new team they're building.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. That's a big move for him because he's going to be able to build a whole team. Like they're just beginning everything. Like they have to start everything new. So I think it can be good for him. Like if it works, it would be like his biggest move. Like
I compare him to James Vowell because he did the same thing. He went from Mercedes to Williams, and look how much he's changed Williams. So I think it will be a good thing, and we'll just wait and see how it changes. But the other driver, or not driver, the other team member that's joining is the ex-Ferrari team principal, Mattia Binotto.
Yeah.
I always find his name really funny for some reason. But he's going to be interesting because He also has experience from Ferrari. I think Audi was smart in picking people from other teams.
Yeah.
To find like what works, what doesn't. I think that'll make them grow a lot faster than a normal team would.
I completely agree. I think it's great to bring in that experience and knowledge that they have. And if it doesn't work out, at least they have a year to get a footing and have as much knowledge from people as possible and experience from people as possible before if things change in the future. But I think it's a great stepping stone for that team for sure.
And I think Lewis was right.
Yeah.
That like people never leave F1. They always come back. But I mean, it's true. I thought Matthias was going to stay in his little vineyard.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I'm a little concerned about him going to Audi because when he was at Ferrari, there was like some strategy problems, like major strategy problems. And I hope he'll try to improve that because he was like not good at Ferrari in the last time, like was complicated. So I hope he will get better at Audi.
You're
Really.
right. You're right. No, because Fred really changed Ferrari after Matthias left. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of issues. But I think, again, the reason they're bringing him is because he has that experience and he knows a lot about information from Ferrari, that they're using that as like their base to grow faster than they usually would. So I think they're being smart, but also like they need to be careful with certain things.
I hope maybe spending some time away might have helped him or can help him to kind of see what worked and what didn't, and he can then bring that into Audi when they come.
Yeah. And he's friends with everybody, so I'm guessing like he's heard information from all his different friends. So we'll see.
For sure. Yeah. We also have Andrea, who extended his contract with McLaren as team principal, which I'm not upset about. I like him.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Because yes, I do like him, and I think he really did change McLaren for the good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's focusing way too much on the team itself and not on the drivers, and it's affecting the drivers.
Yeah.
Like we noticed it the last 2-3 races with Lando and Oscar. They're choosing Oscar over Lando. And this isn't like me being like, oh, because I love Lando, like I'm going to stick up. No, like it's known that they're choosing Oscar. They even said, we don't have a number one, but they're basically favoring him, wanting him to win because they're focusing on the constructors, not on the driver's championship.
Yeah.
Which I think, I don't know, it might go in the wrong direction if they continue because I don't know if I am making sense.
No,
he's a good team principal. I will say that. It's just
it wasn't good before summer break.
Yeah, he's got blinders on, and I'm hoping the summer break, like, because even Lando said in an interview, like they talked about it, of certain thing. I don't know what they talked about. He didn't say, but he said things will change, so we'll see. So
yeah, I mean, like you said, hopefully this break, they as a whole team can come back stronger, and that they kind of work some things out, or at least have an understanding where certain people are coming from, so that there's no blindsiding.
I think they're focusing way too much on the win, and that's what's they're like have blinders on, and they're not gonna see everything else that's wrong because they see that they're just moving up. So I'm hoping that like really they analyze everything,
especially with how close Lando was to Max in the championship. And I think, like you said, that I think he's focusing on them as a team is focusing on the constructors more so than a world championship win for one of their drivers.
Yeah, which is fine. Like they should be focusing on constructors. But if you don't have the support from your team, the driver's not going to do well, and then you're not going to move up with constructors.
Yeah.
So it's like they have to focus on both, not just one or the other, or else they're not going to move up. Like Red Bull, they focus on Max winning so they can move up because they can't with Checo, to be honest. But they're focusing on both things. In McLaren, it just seems like they're focusing on one. But they yet.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I agree because they have to choose like who's the number one, and then number two is supposed to help, like, but not like being forgotten, but like number one is the one you should like try to help the most, like as Red Bull's doing with Max, like, or Ferrari with Charles, like that's known, but I didn't like the way McLaren was behaving with the drivers too by the end of the mid-season.
I mean, I understand them trying to move Oscar up, but in the long run, Lando's been there longer. If you decide to move up Oscar in the championship and he gets closer to Max, can you imagine how Lando's going to feel being there for almost 6 years? For them to that's only been there for a year, I think that it's going to affect the team morale so much.
I agree, but you can try to take Oscar up, but not by taking Lando down. Like, that's a different. Like, you can take them both up, but not by like taking one down. Like, that's not okay because you're just hurting your number one actually, and then it's not going to help the team at all. So I think it's not a good choice, but it's personal.
No, I was gonna say, is it bad that I'm already comparing, even though Andrea's been team principal for a year, comparing him to Matthias like strategy? It feels like it's going in that direction is what I'm trying to say, and I'm worried for Andrea because I do like him. I think he did really well. It's just, I think he's got his blinders on.
Because we were talking about like Mattia at Audi with a strategy problem at Ferrari, and it was exactly the same problem. Like there was too much competition between Charles and Carlos, and it wasn't working. So I think they need to figure it out for McLaren before having a major issue with drivers.
It was the same with Charles and oh my God, who am I thinking of? Vettel, Sebastian. Yeah. Like, I'm worried. That's all I'm saying. And I will be keeping an eye on them for the rest of the season. And I think they know that. And I think a lot of McLaren fans complained enough the last couple races that they're looking at like,
oh yeah, the fans were loud in the comments
for sure. And like even some of the team members were responding to fans, but I think they know now that they need to change or else things are going to go bad.
Yeah.
Fandom at least.
Yeah. Then another breaking news, like Bruno Famin, I'm sorry, I'm saying his name in French, like I can't say otherwise, said before the break that he will leave his role as team principal, and Oliver Oaks is named new team principal at Alpine. So what are you thinking about it? And then the sponsor is only pants now. It's changing, and I can't, like, as a French girl, like, French people are like so shy, and Pierre is French, so I can't imagine him promoting like or spotting something for OnlyFans. Like, what are you thinking about it? Like,
okay, first with the principal, I mean, I'm not shocked. I mean, he said he wanted to go back to like doing other things, which okay, but I think it was more the team's doing really bad. We need to, it's your fault.
Yeah,
like, not surprising. It's just what I'm saying. What is surprising, you're right, is the OnlyFans, and I don't know if that's true. They technically didn't announce it. It's been rumored, but if it is true, why?
Yeah, that's such a different type of sponsorship than we're used to having.
But you know what it might be? Maybe BWT is backing out because of how bad Alpine is doing.
Maybe, yeah.
That they're switching, but that BWT backed out and they're like, we need to find somebody else, and they found OnlyFans. I mean, OnlyFans is not bad. There are other,
but how do you promote it? Like,
Yeah. What are they going to change the color of their car and like their suits?
Well, they have to because BWT is like the whole thing on their.
No, I know, but I'm like how that would look. I don't know what OnlyFans. Well, is it like white? I don't know what the OnlyFans logo.
I don't know either.
I don't know either. So. They could use a refresh.
Yeah, they could. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I feel like it's all we'll see because half of this is like rumors and half of this is like actual news.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can like be for sure until the end of the season or the beginning of next season. So I feel like so much news is going to come out in the next couple months that we're just going to hit with like all these different things.
Yeah, we'll for sure need to come back and make like a follow-up to what we predicted and what has ended up happening. It'll be interesting to see because, like you said, we still have a lot of news. I'm going to look up the OnlyFans logo. 1 second. Okay. OnlyFans, blue.
And white. Oh my God. Again.
So, if that is true, I'll be curious to see.
No, maybe like light blue to dark blue, like something like a dégradé. I don't know how to say it in English.
Yeah,
like
gradient.
A gradient. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it can be cool.
Yeah, and they may not even use like the actual words OnlyFans. They may just use the logo and have that be.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been a lot of driver news. Like there's only one driver announcement. I thought there was going to be way more. We got a lot of team news, which was fun, but I thought that this whole our summer break was going to be filled with like announcement after announcement. It wasn't.
Yeah, I think because Carlos took too long, and then also they announced Carlos like the very first day, and then they also announced the team news the second day, or basically in the first couple of days, and then nothing. So I don't know what happened. I thought there would be way more news because I think it's not that it's right, but like why would you do it the second season or second part of the season, and there's 4 more spots.
Yeah, I agree. I had too much expectations, I think, for summer break. Like I wanted more news. I wanted something like to deal with during the break, and we only had 1 seat announcement, like for real, only Carlos, because it took so long, because there was a long teasing time, and it was mostly too long for us to wait. Like we were like impatient, but like besides team news or like sponsorship changes, like nothing big has been announced yet. So I think next month will be like full of news. I can't wait for that. But I can't say I'm disappointed with the amount of news we had for now.
I think I was more entertained with what the drivers were doing during spring break than the actual like news about the real one.
For sure.
Related. Because like it was fun to see them in different places, but that's it.
Yeah.
We had our attention on where they were because we had nothing else to do. Like we were like searching them, like where are they, vacations, everything, because we had no really other news to deal with or talk about. Maybe us too.
Yeah, I think the Dutch GP. This is my prediction. There's either going to be like either a driver announcement in the Dutch GP. I know from the rumors there's going to be one in Monza. If that's going to be great, not whoever, but like they've got to do it in the last like couple GPs. Like they can't prolong this any longer.
Yeah,
start preparing for the next year.
Yeah,
still sad.
We'll see. Yeah. We have too much thing to talk about, like in the next weeks. I think it will be another pace. Like it will be faster, like for everything, because we need to prepare. They need to prepare, and the fan base need to prepare for next year too.
Yeah, for sure. Especially.
Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was thinking also like in a PR perspective, like you also have to film a whole bunch of stuff for the next year, and if you're going to be in a different team, that's going to take a lot longer than 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And just like you said, Mallory, fans getting used to it. Some are very attached to driver and seats. Or so
I'm very
getting used to seeing them in new colors with new teammates in a new team. It's going to take some getting used to. So I think that'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I will say it was smart for Carlos to do it during summer break because one, he can actually relax and not have to like think about it anymore. But two, it gives the fans the second season to wrap their brain around him being in Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like every time him and Charles are going to do something, and I'm going to be like, it's the last time.
I'm so sad about, I think, like, I've accepted the fact that he's going to Williams. Like, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just Charles and him. That's where I haven't yet accepted it because I love them so much together. They're so funny. I'm going to miss them so much.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to accept it because I've seen how Carlos is with Lando, and they were exactly the same before. They were like the Charles and Carlos now.
Yeah.
So seeing how he still talks to Lando as much, I think him and Charles will be fine.
Yeah.
The lack of it. And I think Alex is a good, I don't want to say replacement, but a new addition. He's very similar to Lando and Charles, so I think that'll be good. It'll be funny.
I'm excited to see their videos for sure, especially with the content that Williams does. And I'm looking forward to any fan zones if they do the fan zones next year. I know we're not really talking about that yet, but I'm really looking forward to the fan zones.
Oh, me too. And I hope we do the same thing we did for last fan zone.
Yeah, me too.
Especially for the directors, because if I can find Carlos,
oh, I agree, and we'll keep that between us.
Yeah. No. Well, what we did, yeah, but we will let you know if we do.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so I think that brings us to the end of this episode right now. Thanks everyone for listening. We are only 2 days away from the start of the second part of the year. If you enjoy the show and want to see more, make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube on Eyes on the Grid. For those of you who are listening, don't forget to check YouTube for the next video version. Make sure to come back next week where we talk about the Dutch GP. Until then, this is Eyes on the Grid. Don't forget to follow us and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.